Hey guys, if you're getting the link to this video, it's because you did not pass the moles exam. All right. It's really important that you make sure you understand moles because the next two tests are going to be moles and more steps to them. All right. So this video is to help break down the different moles. Okay. I encourage you to write this down on your own piece of paper. All right. And do the problems with me because, like, whenever students been coming to tutorials asking for help, a lot of it they're just watching the videos and trying to do the work. But if you're not writing it down, you're not getting the muscle memory. So help yourself, get out the paper, write down the work. Okay. I know you can get these moles, right? Or also schedule a one-on-one. Okay. I like working with kids one-on-one. If you can come to tutorials before or after school, or we can schedule some time to make it work. Um, let's do it. Okay. Let's make sure you know this so we can have a good 6 weeks. Because again, your whole 6 weeks grade is going to be off of making sure you understand moles. Okay. So, with that being said, there's 3 different definitions of a mole. All right. We have 1 mole is equal to 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. This is atoms or molecules. So anytime it's talking about any kind of particles, then we're going to be using Avogadro's number. Another definition is 1 mole is equal to grams. And this is from the periodic table. And then the last one is 1 mole is equal to 22.4 liters. Okay, notice how it's always 1 mole, but it can equal different things. Okay, and the main things here, the atoms are molecules, grams, and liters. We're going to be coming back to this throughout this worksheet. Okay, so when we're doing moles, we're always, or before we even get started, we have 1 step moles and we have 2 step moles. Okay, a lot of the people who've been coming to tutorials have been unable to tell when to use 1-step moles or when to use 2-step moles. Okay, if it's a 1-step mole problem, then it's going to say moles in the problem. We'll say moles. All right, so you're either going to be given moles or you're going to be asking to find moles. That's a 1-step problem. All right, so like number 2, it says moles. All right, so we know that this is a 1-stepper. Right? See how number 3, it's asking us to go from liters to grams. Okay, so it's 2 steps if it does not say moles. All right, does not say moles. Okay, number 3 does not say moles, so this will be using 2 steps. Let's go ahead and do the rest of the worksheet, figuring out if it's 1 or 2 step, and then we'll start working on the problems. Okay, so number 4, how many moles are present in so many molecules? So this does say moles, so number 4 will be 1 step. All right, this is going from molecules to grams. Does it say moles anywhere? Mm-mm. So it's going to be 2 steps. Molecules to liters. Neither one of those are moles, so this is 2 steps also. All right, this one does say moles, so without even reading the rest of the question, I know it's 1 step. All right, in number 15, this is asking for molar mass, so it's not even a mole problem. Okay. All right, so let's get to work on these. If it says, if it's a 1-step problem, that means I'm just going to need 1 train track. Okay, So one step is one train track, two step is two train tracks. Okay, in the first track, we always write what we're given. So this is 34 grams of CuOH2 or copper hydroxide. Okay. Here's where a lot of people are getting confused at. This second step, all right, you're going to be using one of the 3 mole definitions. You have to figure out which of these definitions you're going to use here. Okay, notice how we have grams right here. So that means I'm going to be using the definition that deals with grams. Okay, but where does the grams go? Does grams go on top or does grams go on bottom? The answer to that question is always on bottom if it's on top of this track, because we want them to be diagonal. Okay, so if we have grams here, then grams goes on bottom here, which means I'm going to have 1 mole on top. There we go, finish writing out my units. Okay, so if I started with moles, then this 1 mole would have gone on bottom, because again, whatever on top goes on bottom of the next one. Okay, I'll even write that on here. What's on top of first track goes on bottom of second track. Okay, again, this is where a lot of people got stuck at too. All right, now since this is asking for grams and it says that we have to use the numbers from the periodic table, right, that means I've got to figure out the molar mass of this. Okay, so the molar mass is going to be 1 copper, because there's only 1 copper, right? And that this 2 right here means I have 2 of everything inside the parentheses. People have been asking that as well. Okay, so this means I have 2 oxygens, so plus 2 oxygens. Okay, that's oxygen, not 20, right? And then plus 2 hydrogen, because I'm distributing. All right, so this will be my molar mass. Okay, so let me grab my periodic table. All right, so when we do this, all right, so copper is 63.546 plus 2 times oxygen at 15.999. Hold on. 2 times oxygen is 31.998. Let me have these separated because that's how I would want you to do it. 63.546 plus 31.998 plus 2 times 1.008, because that's hydrogen's mass. Okay, so now I'm going to add all 3 of these masses together. So 2.016 plus 31.998 plus 63.546 equals 97.56. So that's my number that goes here. Okay. Hey, I know that was a lot of work to figure out what number goes right there, but it's not always going to be that difficult. Most of the time it's going to be like oxygen gas, like O2 or N2. So yes, this one was a more challenging one right here, but they're not all going to be like that. So push through it. Okay, you got it. All right, so now that we figured out how many grams of copper hydroxide are in 1 mole, okay, and I've got moles right here because it's 1 step. Now I can finish this. All right, so when you see it like this, all right, if the number's on bottom, we're going to divide. All right, so what I mean is we always start with the left and work your way to the right. Okay, so that's another bullet here. Start left, work right. And then the other thing is on the train tracks, if the numbers on top are going to multiply, and if the numbers on bottom, we're going to divide. Okay, let me get that so you can see it. Start left, work right. If the numbers on top multiply, bottom divide. Okay, so start left, so we have 34. And then we're going to get the calculator so you can see it. 34, and then we're going to divide it by 97.56. All right, so that is my answer. And I'm just going to go to 2 decimal places, and it's fine if you go to 2 decimal places too. The rounding's not as important as it is that you're getting numbers that are really darn stinking close to what I get. All right, so let's do number 2. Okay, so we're going, it's a 2-step problem, so we know we're going to have 2 train tracks. Okay, and again, it's 2-step because it doesn't say moles. We start with what we're given, 27.8 liters of carbon dioxide. All right, so when it's a 2-step problem, we have to first convert it to moles and then convert it to what we need. Okay, so to convert liters to moles, I need to look at my definitions. Okay, which definition has liters in it? This last one right here. Okay, so 1 mole is equal to 22.4 liters. If I have liters right here, then I'm going to put 22.4 liters on bottom. And then I'll put the 1 mole on top. Okay, again, it's always, see how these are all say 1 mole? So that's always going to be 1 mole when you're doing one of the extra tracks. Okay, so right now we've converted this to moles. Now we need to convert it to grams of CO2 because that's what we're asking for. Because I have moles right here, if it's on top of one track, it goes on bottom of the next. So we'll have 1 mole of CO2 right here. Okay, and then this is looking for grams of CO2. Remember, grams comes from the periodic table. So we're going to do 1 carbon plus 2 oxygens. Right, carbon on the periodic table is 12.011, plus we did 2 oxygens right here, so 31.998, 12.011 plus 31.998, right, so this is going to be 44.009. All right, now when we look at our directions up here, we're going to start at the left, work our way to the right. If numbers on top, we'll multiply. If it's on bottom, we divide. Okay, so start at the left, 27.8 divided by 22.4, because that's on bottom, then multiply by 44.009. All right, so 54, we'll say 54.62. All right, again, the rounding is not as important as your answer being really close to what I get. Okay, so if you said 54.6 or if you said 55, totally fine. You're on the right track. Okay. Let's see. So we'll do one, or hopefully this is giving you an idea of what to do. What I encourage you to do now is pause the video and get as far on the rest of this worksheet as you can, or until you start feeling really comfortable with how to do moles. I'm going to sit here and silently work out the rest of the problems, or at least showing, yeah, I'm going to work out the rest of the problems. So when you get these done, then you can press play and just watch me work or fast forward. Hey guys, here's the answer key. So work on these problems on your own, but then double check to make sure that you have everything right. Okay, you can see here where it's labeled what the problem is asking for. Okay, you can see how the units cancel out. and then you can see your final answers. Okay, take your time, work through this, ask us for help if you need it. Okay, we're here for you.